Ay sul, mati tanak tumanod bay no. Engko ka. Engko di.
Ito na patanak na bay no, nga na kayo no. Mesti dapat tulukan no kapiso. Ino no da mangan. Pelatio ka sa ngawi tanak. Enggak ditinui.
Doa aku gyai kasedap, dohong aku gyadi kadondom. Da ama oi da ina ko oi ina oi da mogat ko gyai.
The indigenous people of North Borneo call themselves the Kadazandusun. Most Kadazandusuns reside in Tambunan, Ranau, Tuaran, Papar, Kinarut and Pinampang. Out of the several concerns that they have, one besets them greatly: the continuity of their culture and identity, the longevity of their legacy left to them by their ancestors. To pass down a set of values, beliefs and way of life, the old ones depend highly on their young ones. But like any group of youths, today's young Kadazandusuns face the distraction of modernity. The youth of the Kadazandusun community are a far cry from their forefathers.
Our indigenous peoples obviously came from Sabah. Research that's ongoing, that's being done on mitochondrial DNA, puts the Austronesian origins for Southeast Asia probably in insular Southeast Asia, not in South China, not in Taiwan, probably in Sulawesi, Borneo. And it puts the arrival of the Austronesians in Borneo around 20,000 years ago. So the DNA data says that the Austronesian peoples, the ancestors of today's Kadazandusun and Dusunik Murutik and Paitanik peoples, have been in northern Borneo for around 20,000 years ago.
Here, we follow a group of Kadazandusuns of all ages and from various backgrounds. We hope to gain a further understanding of their interaction with each other. The Kadazandusuns cover a range of extremes: the traditional and the modern, the conservative ones and the liberal ones. These extremes have created a gap between the young and the old. To get to the reasons of this gap, we must first get to know these people.
My name is Jordan. I'm 15 years old. Now I live in Kampung Kolopis. My hobbies, I play with my drum set at home. I take lessons from my teacher, Mr. James, in Sound Space in City Mall. No. After school, I would either go play golf or take my drum lessons. But if I have nothing after school, I'll just go straight home and sleep or play game. My favorite Kazan food is number one is the bangbangan, and then number two is the fried fish.
The basungan.
The bosungan.
Yeah.
There's Pizza Hut and KFC.
That's your favorite, yeah.
It has to be dry. This one should automatically float out. But very important, Jordan, you have to put a little bit of salt. Otherwise, your fish is not tasty.
On the fish or inside the oil?
Cover your fish with a little bit of salt, not too much.
Okay.
And I think to have more flavors, we put some black pepper.
Black pepper.
Powdered black pepper. Maybe you don't really taste it.
Big Mama, when you younger kan last time, what you used to eat?
I know nothing about bread, biscuit, or anything. All I knew was breakfast, rice, lunch, rice, dinner, rice. So everything was based with rice. And if we were lucky, we would have something like, you know, we had this old-fashioned, we call it margarine before. We just smeared it on our rice and put a little bit of sugar and just eat it like that. Otherwise, in the morning, we have this leftover rice. We just take it for breakfast, that is. And then with our coffee, old-fashioned coffee, sometimes we call it now coffee kunsikang.
Coffee kunsikang.
Yeah. And then we just dip that rice and we just eat as it is. That's what our breakfast. But you will be very surprised, Jordan. During my time, people need not go to hospital, you know. They didn't get sick. You know, your great-grandmother, my grandmother, she died at the age of 93. She only went to hospital once only because of that. She had to have her tooth extracted. No, Willa, because I think it was the wisdom tooth, I'm not very sure. Other than that, she never went anywhere. Never had high blood pressure, never had thick blood, never had no nothing. Because all we ate was original. We didn't have fertilizer even. Didn't even know what is fertilizer. Everything grew up very nicely. We just plucked from the forest or from the jungle or from the paddy field. Who wasn't that? And do you know, I drank water from the paddy field, I tell you, when I went to school. I just did like this. Just like this. Scoop it like that and just drink like that. Never got sick. Ôi thôi, mình cả mà cái ngắt tập bây giờ anh cái thì non pe ho.
Pa daing ngan
I don't know dia kepada dia selamat ya. Nunggu gay tapo.
Isa tapo.
Okay. Oh dia tapo. Enda mana po tapo honok pa ko. Wani
Ko din na. Daing ano na gyas gambil.
Ini ubasutan ini so. Ko enda man umagang ere ka ba?
Gambil.
Kau enggak gambil. Oh dia gambil.
Pinang.
Tapo, pinang, gambil. Wah.
Nabo.
Siapa dia? Isa sigup.
Sigup man to the nabo.
Boy.
Today's young Kadazandusuns know more about Western pop icons and the bests in the world more than they know about their people's origin. There are so many differences between the old and young generations that there is no doubt of the existence of a generational gap. How stark a contrast is there between these generations?
The younger people, they're too busy, they're too caught up with doing what's now, and everybody wants to, keep up with the times with each other. They kind of forget about the older generation because they think that what they need to do now is important.
I hate to admit this, but it doesn't play a big part because growing up, I was never taught about our culture. I've never learned about our language, where we came from, our roots basically. So personally, I don't think that it plays a big role.
My name is Duncan and I'm 16 years old and I'm a Kadazan. My mom is from Penampang and my dad is from Kinarut. Besides my normal routine going to school, during my free time, I play futsal, video games, Facebooking, and I also jam with my friends. Normally for Kamatan, we just play Sumazao, we just dance a little bit, play the Tagong, and the traditional Kadazan fashion show, which is called the Unokadao.
Okay. Are we close already, you think?
Yes, I think it's like...
You behave yourself, okay?
Okay.
Duncan spends a day with his grand aunt and grand uncle, and it amazes him to know that he has much more to learn about his culture.
Aki, engkau kan?
Masih bahaya.
Oh, masih.
No,
kapayahan.
Kapayahan di tinun pa di, nga kapayahan sa nguhon namin idu pagun.
Oh, no, purpose do kapayahan.
Pinaidu pagun patay bo mazon. Yang paling senang ini gini. Ngan ko na po. Ino pa di paguhui ngan ko na po nga supay mentadbay na ngan ko na pa di paguhu nga lahuji. Tapi kasuang ko na pa da Kristiyan nga punganan ko di bagud ko nga Leo lahuji bin Moinin. Kampung na pa tiada iti nga punganan na kampung Punson Kinarut. Dari iti no tintadadon ko minugad sikul nga susah ko sa mugad sikul hay di paguluhi. Pasal po nga ay sa talon-alon, ay sa ito ini, bugad sikul nga kon kami kabay na tunagogo na patanak di kasut nga manaw takad kaki ayam, kadi po.
In future, when there would be no old people around, well, you tend to do away with that one. For example, if you are in other parts of the country when this happens, there is no old people there to guide you, they tend to sort of do away with it.
I think now children have to be more aware of what's going around them, what are the challenges that they have faced. And I do feel for the younger generation because they are facing more challenges. It's no longer straightforward, unlike before.
Nowadays, I feel that the younger people have a lot of distractions. Of course, you cannot deny that when we were younger, when the older people were younger, we had less distractions. We had less TV. We had no TV. We had no computers. We had no iPhone, iPad, iGames, nothing. It basically means less time to talk to the older people. And the older people, if you don't take advantage of their time, their wisdom, their experience, their stories, they will just take it with them.
More and more young Kadazandusuns are proficient in foreign languages. But what of their own mother tongue? They've come this far in progress. And is forgetting your parents' language a deterrent of any kind?
Nothing at all.
Joanne, Duncan's friend, lives in the same city as him.
I grew up in a city, so frankly to say, I don't really know much about the tradition and stuff. Like, I don't go back to my dad's kampung. We do celebrate Chinese New Year, Christmas and stuff, but for Kamatan, no, we don't really go back to the kampung. We all speak English and Malay, but for us siblings, because we were sent to Chinese school, so we speak Chinese as well. See, my grandparents, they don't speak Kadazan to my mom and the siblings, so they do not know how to speak.
Well, I think my proficiency level in speaking Kadazandusun is not zero lah. I do have a little bit, like kotohada and like those simple words lah.
Don't talk about proficiency. Even worse than that, in terms of whether they can speak a little or not, is a problem. They cannot even speak the language. They can even understand the language.
If you meet with Kadazandusun children, at least those that I have met, they tend to speak in Malay.
Iti bayi na iti nga agumo hangot do bos nahangatan da bos suway. Jadi kasamun ako na di ko bos do andang original kamedi. Jadi agumo hangot agumo nagi nahiwan di bos guhu ngawi.
Some of them don't even speak. Even my own family. As I was telling you, I myself, when I grew up, when I was already about 14, 15, I started to learn. And it's very difficult.
In the past, maybe you think it's not important for me to know my own mother tongue. It's more important for me to learn English or Bahasa or Chinese even, or other languages, because you think that it's going to help you in your future.
I speak mainly English, BM at certain points, and Mandarin. Chinese, I was sent to a Chinese school. I'm Chinese educated. For Kadazan, I fully understand the language, but when I speak, it's very broken.
The Kadazandusun language, I don't really speak it. I can count 1, 2, 3 in Kadazan. Iso, Duvo, and Tohu.
Nice ones. These are the harvest festival. Harvest festival queen habitaditi. You know that? This one,
Where's mine? With me.
Nah, where's your mommy? You can see where your mommy is. I know po. I know po mommy daw. Kelas, Auntie Nana, Auntie Felsi, Auntie Ila. Nah, who's that? Satya. Mau mami nurit. That's lovely kan?
Isikay na pag-giminaza ko nga ay sa datung na guest. Benar-benar na ay so dadi mesti do kay kat pamantan sikol ko ni kalajana pa daw kay so na pa daw kay kat mantan sikol nga may napagyum na si Duwon. Nung ay sa si Duwon aw kan sakta kanon. So pahitang ka mo sa ni Tinuwi na gumawa na daw ba. Isa na po kagunaan ka ni nga pangahuguvan na gaya da takanon. Ondam po bago dito nini so po kani ina po ipopo di si Duwon. Agan saka kiva popo kani megari arang taytom may di kan popo na da si Duwon nangan di ina pakazan na gay man posokot di bulus ang pambulus agada nipon. Kada mo hayang na mo boss na pa nga agisukon na nipon ka.
What I really enjoyed about my childhood, my mother, sasaw sidomugad miga moy pangindat mugyum dahos. Yeah, so at that time dato ko nga aw po na puluta ba bolisi po. Actually, I can picture the white sand. So what my mother does with her friends lah, I will be observing. Man diyon po diho miga kongay may togis deho dati ko ni, and then they can actually dahos they can actually just put it there and then paggan nga copies. That is what I recall, I mean, as a little kid.
ボルネオの西北に地に豊かに恵まれた天然の資源あまたを数えてレジャンの流れが潤している一帯がある。このレジャン川を遡ってごく少数の一部隊がこの先兵の道案内を務め手を振って歓迎の意を表する者、それはかつて首狩りで鳴らした大野族である。陸の精鋭は自らもまず斧を握り千個の密林を切り開いて農民道場を打ち立てた。勤勉な精神
Ngay no do naikot na sinusa na takaw tiyan na pa di nga bi kain-kain nga bi musim di punam aiso sang kinis-kinis kay pa di mo'y pananom bidadayton pa di na ikay ng mga pakasay na gaya mga kaya di pananom din kaikot na pa di ikuwa kapatrabang mang sikay di kuwa mimang sikay na di hob di dayo di sana binatang nakaya ko na ako na binatang di tinuy binatang na pa nga sunsuson may pihatan na tanado bukon di nakaya ako di binatang di susun dayo sikay di sangin hob.
These ladies are descendants of Bobohizans. A Bobohizan is a shaman of sorts or a high priestess in the Kadazandusun community.
When I was growing up, we had the chance to see Bobohizans. Nowadays we don't practice any more of these Kadazandusun rituals when it comes to Bobohizan because of our religion, okay, because of our faith and our belief. So because we have Kadazandusuns who are Muslims and then Christians or other religions, so we don't practice that anymore.
My grandmother is a Bobohizan apprentice, and since young, every time come Kamatan, 31st of May, when she was still quite strong, she'll move around, lead the Bobohizan team every year in KDCA. I would be there following her every time. I find it very amusing looking at how she runs the rituals, but of course I don't understand the language. For me, there's a fine line, but a very distinct one. So for me, when it comes to faith and culture, faith is what you believe in. You believe in a higher being. Culture is a way of life. It's a clear difference.
Although they aren't as adept as their ancestors, they have at least the ability to perform a hius. Hius, or humius, are odes unique to the Kadazandusuns.
Tino po humius tinga ko basan ni mohayng ditinu antok na pada kibaan takan ni po no pa diha do ko basanan la humius si jihang kibada lati di papaiho do ko na ko daw la ya como son the hius
ba ang patimpunon ko dati hius ko ipunganan do pinaginipisan do pa ko gyay kasadop do hang ako gyadi kadandam do pagiginipi ako pagiginandam gyay daminugad ako'y manisod minibok ako'y magkaang
do iyad ko datangi ko tanak ugya di huminadon lunga ko di huminadi tumugad ka pada mga ipatay mo ka pada mga iduso dadizon ka diho tanamon dadizon ka diho sa zaton datanamon diho paay sa zaton diho ng bilod ka.
Ros Nani used to follow a group of Bobohizans around. Fiercely protective of her heritage, she keeps a handwritten journal of what she has learned from those before her.
Umul ko na pa nga pahungopod. Sip niya umul sa 80 la. Santob na pa dinayhan ko. Do mantadi. Ono na pa idon gulo-gulo nano ko mantadi. dado atau nini mo yang paihozo di no yay adat-adat lah. Ino na yan ko. No tanudon day tadaw ka matan nga ay se pisubazan nung tanudon nga widehe magawaw di. Ay se pisubazan ko. Nampo di gara bay no do kiwa na nga wido pibayan humozo. Kiwa na wido pibayan da undok nga daw. Napisubazan.
Adat pa di paguhoy di tinga. Kiva na dos pisubazan iti musim na bay na to inay kiva musim daw dot kangko di mahizanin sa anusum taon mga ngakan tagazay na mamuhaw nga bidot waris-waris daw lupa di tanak nga hobon nga bidiho adi inagitimpo di dot kapag tutubong magibabasi kami ga kasi di nuno di punganan da ko bay na te tu may da kapag umahumo may hangad mo hoing katay kan mangad mo hoing inka anay kamazo na dat paguho adi ina pa di panday da dat kada dator paguho nga ay so na bay na tikitok.
For Tanak Baino, Kaamatan is just another 2 days of public holiday where they can plan their own activities. Mampus may kawan. No, even if they go to the main center for the Kalamazan, kani KDCA, it's just to socialize. But I don't think in their mind they really know what is going on. It's just another celebration for them.
Kaamatan to me, I think there's nothing wrong with the celebration of beauty. That is one thing. Today, we know Kaamatan as a celebration of beauty. But I feel that we mustn't forget that it's actually remembering our Kinoengan, the Kadazan's Kinoengan, and his sacrifice of his daughter, who may not know. It's about that. It's about remembering that. So you put your young girls out there. They not flaunt, but it's all about beauty and who's the most beautiful, who's the smartest. That's fine, but you have to remember the story behind that. Intermarriage within the Kadazandusun community itself is not uncommon. Here is a couple that is a result from the intermarriage between a lady from Pinampang and a man from Tenggilan.
My name is Vanessa exactly from Kampung Hubak Dambai, Pinampang. This is my husband, Brandon. He's from Tenggilan Lapasan. He's a Dusun Tindal.
During my marriage, I remember once where this Lotud group passed me these drinks that I have to pass it to my wife and to my father-in-law, mother-in-law, to show that I'm in the family.
So wondering generation apa dia tu nokwa tu mikisava ko hide.
Susah manimada pungwat niya gadi na because di guminasa sa wisaw kani a books nga ako di I saw television, radio maybe for the rich people. So makisava na po na pimanan ko nga kaka natural ba na makisava. Ano reason daw? Aso na kaya nga kay isti mag-isaba. Tun di pa ditimpo ni kanit. Tanak na bertando di awas sabora. Oglo da. Apa da bahuton kan nga punganan yo hodo. Aw avasi
Aw,
ba?
avasi.
Kibadi iso bos da pakazan yo hodo. Nakahanut naka.
Of course, the cultural custom, we have differences from various districts. Papal is slightly different from Penampang. Our dance also different. As you can see, our dance, the Penampang ones, the custom, they have very nice, long, like an evening out. While Papa, they have halfway. Yeah?
Rice is revered by the Kadazandusuns as the embodiment of a long-gone past. It is thought to have souls.
In 1982, when our oldest son was 2 years old, and I can remember I had to learn a lot of things. For example, we're in KK at one house, and our little boy, who was 2 years old, was sitting with his cousins in front of the TV, and of course they sit on the floor and they're eating their dinner. And he put his plate down and he jumped up to go to the kitchen. He accidentally kicked the plate and the rice went across the floor. So I rushed to the kitchen to get a broom to sweep up the rice at the other end. And my brother-in-law's wife, my sister-in-law, screamed at me. And my husband said, "Don't bring the broom here, take it away." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Oh, it's the adat, you never take brooms near food." But actually later on I found out that you do not sweep rice, because if you sweep the rice, you offend its living force, its bambarayan. Rice is a living being, and you hurt the rice by putting the broom there.
The Kadazandusuns adhere to an array of rites, rituals, and beliefs, ranging from what happens when you marry a distant cousin to what should be done when you have to rush out before eating. The fact that rice isn't just food, but considered to have souls, goes to show that rites, rituals, and beliefs encompass a Kadazandusun's life in every way. But such is not the case today.
Patay na patunto ko, katakuta daw na kasi, takuta daw sudah pain bihiw de damin kan. Jadi katakuta daw misyoso kon ni. Kung anam tadaw na po mamisok, katuta daw na po mabukas. Untuk kan pwede katuta daw di mabukas, di nga tutudan nga kain di kain di pinakay di ito ni pakai daw.
There's a lot of pantang larang. Even me, although I'm exposed to the world, I still practice them, you know. And like hanging clothes outside during the night time, it is not good. So we have to, in order for us to hang clothes, we have to pick up a green thing, a plant, and put it on the clothesline. That is to protect the clothes from absorbing the bad energy, bad spirit.
When you are pregnant, my mother used to say that you cannot eat fruit that is being eaten by the birds from the tree.
Jangan duduk di rumah, di depan pintu rumah. Nanti dia bilang susah melahirkan anak.
What we do with the umbilical cord after from hospital is that I can't do it. The grandmother or her grandmother, my grandmother had to do it lah. Bila mau tanam, you have to prepare yourself. Always smile. Think of happy thoughts. When you cangkul that time, you still have to think about happy thoughts. If you want the baby to be happy all the time, so that's why you have to. Another thing that I remember, yang saya ingat yang kalau kamu baby ko terror dalam football, you tanam the umbilical cord with a football, so that the baby eventually be a football star or something like that. I don't know whether Beckham did his, but
The Sogit practice makes up one of the numerous customs in North Borneo's native courts and is part and parcel of the Kadazandusun way of life. A Sogit acts as a moral compass whereby a fine is imposed where wrongdoing is discovered.
Sogit na po kumuzon nga miga kay paimpasi sogitan o miga kibado za kamay dibo. Nung anini na po ihal do mangan salasazo nga manok, taybogok, tagazo na po di kasayhal nga kalabaw. Kumuzon do nung ibos do bahasa nga kurban tay ko sacrifice kibadiza ino kamuzan sogit na sogitan no na di kumadid minamangon tay kay tiyahi kampung-kampung tay kay daytitan natu sebab zagya ikon ino kamuzan na sogit
miagarago savono miagari Angelina tutamuhok dari mesti dari sagitan di hoi anuan di hoi do pada malinggit patoy tu nahangan kajadi etinui au buli do yakai terus ramai pemaboy di tamuhak ngau ita tuang san puak basai
tadi nung auman segitai
ngai na kamuson do dia do ono kadi ai ka au buli ka kabinasu
Iti na po sogit iti nga untuk di kiva kahasaan na songhun. Ya? Kopi oduh patay kopi mang.
Okay, nung niga tunang nga vikon, datyo putus tunang, niga family nung masa pertunangan, datyo sudah buat perjanjian lah. Siap isa yang kasih putus pertunangan, then she has to pay or he has to pay.
Is it safe then to consider Sogit a part of a traditional judiciary system? The native courts of the Kadazandusun has been a means of self-governance for thousands of years. How important then is their native court?
The native court is very, very important. It's very, very important. I think historically they have not been given the recognition that they deserve. And I say it's important, it's because they are the ones that tell us what our native laws are. So many people don't know what our native laws are. They don't know what it is. The native court is the court that tells us what the native law is. Okay, law is just one aspect of our life, because we have traditions, we have customs that may not be enforceable in the native court, but native law is part of our custom and tradition, and so that aspect is important to us.
In Sabah, we have three systems of law. One would be the civil law, civil courts. One would be the Sharia courts. And of course, another court that is special to Sabah is the native courts. It governs the native people of Sabah, mostly small disputes and family matters, as well as marriage, of course.
Kadazandusun youths never go without struggles when it comes to reconciling their current mindset with their traditional heritage. In the midst of their attempt at catching up with their fast disappearing culture, their efforts are often thwarted by numerous challenges.
When you are brought up in an environment where you are not made to appreciate, then I think that's where the problem starts.
Okay, to generalize that the younger generation is ignorant towards culture is unfair. There are a lot of young people who are trying.
As a musician, I think probably making an album or maybe even a single with even a little touch of local dialects would be a fantastic idea.
I'm a full-time musician. Mixing my culture into my music is not that easy. It's because since I cannot quite speak the Kadazan language, it's very hard for me.
A lot of local artists now, they are trying to get in touch that way, and they're being appreciated very well. Actually, the wonderful thing is when you see something like that happen, you would see the younger generation singing along to the song, and you feel like, hey, they're getting in touch with their culture. This is what our parents would actually like to see us do.
Open the bigger space. Yeah. Alright. James and Rambert, go. Make sure you explore. Just keep quiet, yeah? You're done. I want everyone to slowly move back out while exploring and sit back in your position.
Meet up for a drink someday. Here's my card.
You might as well just give up. It's okay. I'll give you back. No, that's not fair. You cheated. I wasn't even ready yet.
What I feel is when you have an identity to hold on to, you know who you are. So no matter where you go, you feel that sense of being unique, being important, being somewhere.
Along with changing times, the Kadazandusun of North Borneo have been fast to progress, learned, exposed, cultivated and unique for their culture. But are the Kadazandusuns at the risk of losing touch with their traditions? Will the Kadazandusuns one day be different from how they were in the past? Will a modified set of ways stand in place of their ancestors' ways?
Tino po ko basanan to ko nga kon gya ko isiso kan kiva pipio dadi kiva ko basanan ya wasi bulita ko do patihambuson
bayad na po nga mega kay mumpah tay tumimpun no katimpun nage dami ka kay ahivan di dato ko ya mitino di pagi ra kiba ka paingatan ko dai titi da masitino do man baguro to ko putun duhiono mega hai di tinimpuno ni di antok di adsai po kaso kapabuan di tibos dato ko.
The Kadazandusuns haven't shunned modernity, but they haven't always been equal in thoughts and practices when it comes to where, how, and when to embrace modernity.
Modernization is something unavoidable. You keep track of what your parents taught you, how they lived, you don't have to practice that, but then at least know it, because you want immortality for your culture.
I think modernization is definitely not a bad thing. But holding steadfastly to the old ways, you need to, I think, make a decision on what old ways that you would understand and what to hold on to.
It's important that a calon toko o man toko sunudai ko susuzai lai tiada nak ngawi babai nanti kani importance of a tradition ba.
The Kadazandusun solution to their generational gap is one that is collective and varied. However, it is clear that cooperation is something they all agree upon.
For me, I think it starts at home.
Yes, actually I'm teaching my children how to cook their ethnic food also.
If we do not speak the language at home, then there is a possibility that all these efforts nothing will come out of it.
Tiada penting auhan tiada kemuhakan ngawi baino dot poti hambusti. Tapi ina pay dong guluh na kazaham. Au na di sebab na hiwan na di dihain.
You know, preserving the culture and all that. A lot of people are doing their part of it, but I still feel that it's not enough. You know, it's still not enough. I feel that the Kadazandusun people themselves should do it. You know, from the grassroots, the people themselves should do it from as young as from as young as possible.
You don't lose your traditions. Don't lose your essence as a native.
I do not want this to die off for the future generation.
One thing that I've always hoped for myself is for me to master my own language. And of course, I don't only carry this hope for myself, but also for the rest of the Kadazan people in Sabah.
I'm hoping that the younger generation think that there is a renaissance within themselves where they feel that they would like to know their own language. And once they want to do this, they will develop a love for it. And they will want to know and they will want to learn.
There must be, or they can find a common ground for them to start off a new relationship, so to speak. And this is the new butterflower that we need to start off. Otherwise, you will be forever, you can release this problem.
Ang sana no parami gadi dahira tuhunan atuto no di I nanganak ko de ngomho pangawi di misi sira do kondom te ko mikir do mahik do ingko do tapasi mahik I bos sendeba.
Izo na pong atun humozo zo montok isompuvan Ando gong zo ditihin so Piginavan itangado kadazan Kadazan no pongatun to dipon Nung ay sunod o pisompuvan Kadazan may kitunod o gluon Nung oy zo vinakas do sunduvan